The Peer Networks programme, powered by the New Anglia Growth Hub.
Charlie is the managing director of the film and television production company iFilm. The Norwich-based company prides themselves on their ambition, innate creativity and innovation skills. iFilm creates beautiful content from promotional videos to documentaries to feature films, and you can see the passion for their craft in all that they produce. Something that sets iFilm apart from the industry is they are also keen on educating businesses on how to create their own quality productions, offering training courses and workshops. Today we asked Charlie about his thoughts on video content for businesses and when it may be worth outsourcing to professionals.
My name is Charlie Gauvain and I run a production company called iFilm, and I'm a producer. I make everything from television to short commercials and videos for businesses and schools. Well, about 10 years ago, particularly when the internet was taking off and more people were wanting video content, and we realized that actually very quickly people were finding ways to go out and make their own films, and they were of different quality. So some were very good and some were actually pretty poor. And there's some very simple things to actually be able to teach people to make sure that films are better. It's about, the heart of it, it's all about story and understanding how to tell stories, but there are some quality issues that need to be addressed. Simple things like about how to actually make sure the sound quality is good and having a microphone, making sure that if you are, when you're trying to reach your audience, just to understand the audience that you're trying to reach and make sure you target things properly. So we created a number of training programs, and in particular, we're looking at businesses and people and schools as well, and training people in how to create social media content, 60 to 90-second films. I think most videos, I think most companies are actually already using video. You'll find it more and more people want to use video. And actually, if they're not, they're probably missing out. One of the companies, we're in a business network, one of the companies there, they're using sort of 10-second clips about part of their printmaking business, and they're on LinkedIn, and they're actually getting 30 to 40,000 views on LinkedIn, which is far beyond what we expected as well. And they've done this without training. They're actually undergoing some of the training that we're doing at the moment. So I think, again, it is understanding your audience and what they need. And it isn't about making a 90-minute film. It is actually about giving an audience snippets, small bits and pieces they really want to do, and also how to best communicate your message. It's about understanding how you can use the same material in different ways for different audiences and also different platforms, because there are so many different types of platforms in the way that people actually want to view things. So things are changing all the time. A year ago, we would not have thought about Zoom recording, but we've actually done Zoom recordings throughout the year. We've actually got a little advice and hints and tips. If you are going to do Zoom recordings, it's a very quick way to actually get messages out there. So things are changing, and I think that's probably what I've learned. I mean, I've been in the business for 25 years plus, and actually in that period of time, things have changed drastically. If you think at that point, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have the social media, we didn't have any of those kind of things, and we were still working off tapes or film. Now everything is so digital and everything is expected very, very fast. So I think that's about that. There have been huge changes, and we're just trying to keep pace with that. I think the straightforward answer is about time management, because the truth is, if you're producing video content, film content, you do have to allow some time. And part of what we try and teach people is, or at least to have an expectation about the amount of time they actually want to spend. So if you've got no time at all, then you won't be able to do it. But if you've got time of an hour or 2 hours over a particular day, you could actually go out and capture some material and actually be able to edit it together. So I think the truth is that you do have to have an appetite, you do have to want to do it, you do have to have an interest. But I think we've taken people who've never done any video producing before, and actually they've, by the end of the training, been making their own films. It is then a question about taking it back into the workplace and being able to carry on producing them. So I think you do have to make your own decision about how much time you want to spend. But in truth, once you get used to it, like anything else, you can turn things around very quickly. I think it is a matter of understanding, again, your product and your service and the audience that you're approaching. So if you're actually looking to produce promotional film or an advert or something that's really meant to represent the best quality, the best that you can actually show, then expecting you after a short training course or to have done a little bit of film training or making stuff on your phones isn't the same quality as what we'd be able to produce, because we make television, we make broadcast quality productions. So it is understanding that that's a difference. There is a price point difference as well, so people have to accept that. So we work with clients who do the whole range. They actually look to us to be able to produce the top end content that they actually need produced, but at the same time they want to be able to make daily films or films that go out on social media every few days. So it is about balancing that out. So I think if you're trying to make the decision, you actually need to make a decision about what level of investment you're prepared to make, and what because in order to bring in professional people to make video content, there is a price point that you have to pay. Well, it's a very good point, because I think just because you've got a film or you've made something doesn't mean that anyone's going to watch it. So it is about, there's so much more than just making it, because if you build it, they don't always come. So we've certainly seen that at times when made great films, given it to a client, and actually they've stuck it on the 4th page of a website and no one's ever watched it. So I think it is understanding about distribution as well, and looking at ways of which people will watch it and can watch it, and it is about sharing and making sure that people really want to see the content. I suppose the other question is really, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you've got 100,000 people watching it, but only 3 people really will do anything as a result of watching it. That's not the same. You could have 100 people watching, but 50 of them then go on and buy your service, and that's a success. So it is about matching that, and it is about looking and following it and actually trying to track and sort of monitor what's going on. So whether that's through social media, whether that's through your website and SEO. So there is a whole chain of things to actually take into account, as well as producing the video content. And as I was saying earlier, it isn't necessarily the same video on every platform. So you may well have a 3-minute film which might be sitting on your website, which will then actually have a 60-second version that's on your Facebook and a 30 seconds that's on Instagram. So there are different ways in which you can use the same material. So it isn't one size fits all. Go and do it, go and try. I mean, I think what we do is we offer training courses to people, and we run these regularly. So we've been, as a result of lockdown, we've had to work at ways in which we are doing this remotely. So certainly the editing side of things, the training, we've been doing this using Zoom. We have done the training with film and using either digital cameras or phones, and all of that's been done online as well. I have to admit that is not as easy. It is more difficult because you're not physically in the same room or same area and being able to see what you can do, but we have made it work, and our training's been all over the world. So recently we've been working with Wellington School in Shanghai, where we'd actually physically been out there, worked with them before and done some training, and they wanted further training as well. So that was then done remotely. We were working at 6 a.m. in the morning, which is about 3 p.m. in the afternoon with them. But I think, like anything, if you really want to become good at something, you can learn an awful lot and you can look at lots of websites and everything else, but there is a certain level of training that you actually need as well. So we have this blended approach where there is a training that you can get to a certain level, then you go out and produce content and then come back to us. And we like to have ongoing conversations with people. So it isn't a matter of like, here's a bit of training, disappear, or watch this video and we'll never see you again. It's about a conversation and trying to build a relationship with people.
To find out more about the Peer Networks programme, please visit www.newangliagrowthhub.co.uk. Alternatively, you can contact one of our Peer Networks coordinators at peer-to-peer@newangliagrowthhub.co.uk.